So, what's the biggest mistake you've made when outsourcing, freelancing, or hiring a virtual assistant, whichever term you
That's a good
want to
question.
use?
Biggest mistake. So I think culturally, you have to align the tasks with the culture to some extent. So, and it's really hard to have that conversation without sounding racist, I think. So let me have that conversation in a way that doesn't sound like that. Some cultures, the way that they sound and come across, they are very specific on what they want to do. So we had a website designer and it looked like 1980s neon Miami Vice kind of thing because culturally that is how they would create their websites because that is their culture, and that's not British, jazzy, kind of thing. So that is really important, and also their ability to get feedback was very difficult because they were very set in their ways because that is how they did things, and they couldn't understand that. So making sure that you align. So I'll give you an example. Let me try and think of an example. I think the website actually is the best example. When we try to give them feedback, we use 5 themes, and we want websites created in a certain way, and we want them to follow our rules. But they just wouldn't do it, and it was just bizarre. And so when we got rid of that person, we moved it to a different part of the world. There's so much more. Ah, yes, brilliant. Thanking us for the feedback. They much more wanted to learn, and so I think that's the key. So it's like, I got a phone call earlier this morning. We all get them calling from Three Network, wanting to upgrade you on your phone. Do you get those, by the way? Is it just me? Uh, and they're always from India or Pakistan, aren't they? Right. So if you're making outbound sales calls, and how many times have you had a call to an Indian call center and you don't trust it because it's we've all had the prince's email. I've got £14 million left. We've all had those. So culturally, I think you have to be really careful. So like sales and outbound sales, using people over in Thailand and the Philippines, if they're going to sound American, you get away with that. Imagine having a French person call you and trying to sell you. That would be really challenging, I think. American is probably get away with it. Imagine an Italian person trying to sell you a phone. It's so different. And then imagine like a person from the north of England selling you a phone, like for clearly from England. So making sure that the right person is allocated to the right type of task, I think that's one of the biggest learnings. And I think it's different for everybody and it's different for everybody else's business. But the only way to find that out is to do it and test different people from different parts of the world. Some will be good at some things and others will be worse at some things. And that's it's so hard not to sound racist around it, but it's not about don't use that culture because that culture is a negative culture. It's just that culture is not great at that thing, but they're much better at this thing. So like the technical stuff from India, and we got a guy in India. He's amazing at CSS, cascading, style stuff on website because culturally, how many times on tenants do you get, especially city centre? We get so many IT guys coming over from India into the city centre. They rent a studio for 6 months, and after 6 months, want a bigger two-bed place because now he's bringing his family over. We know this. We have these conversations with these guys all the time. So it's the same with culturally. Those guys are very good technically, so we recruit from those areas. And also, that's not to say that Philippines or Thailand can't do that. We just have better experiences. So it's a really hard subject to talk around without actually sounding a bit racist, I think. But I think it's worth having that conversation if you can, or at least thinking about it.